Russia's war against Ukraine. Or as the Russian state media say, the 2-week special military operation, which has now lasted 6 weeks, has brought about a crisis in the middle of Europe many had not thought possible. This has caused much suffering to the people of Ukraine. But the effects on spaceflight are not insignificant. Russia's behavior has transformed from a long-standing and reliable partner with a significant history into an adversary. London-based OneWeb wanted to launch 36 satellites for its global broadband internet project using a Soyuz rocket. But Russia refused and removed the rocket from the launch site again on March 4th. Earlier, Roscosmos had set conditions via Twitter for OneWeb to rule out the military use of satellites and for the British government to withdraw from the company. So far, hundreds of OneWeb satellites have already been launched into space by Russian rockets, and the British government saved the company from bankruptcy in 2020. In addition, Russia no longer wants to launch future Soyuz rockets from French Guiana in South America and ordered its compatriots back, as was announced on February 26, 2022. In the process, 2 European Galileo satellites were scheduled to launch in April. This means that the expansion of the European satellite navigation system is stalled, as these can probably only be launched with Ariane 6. In addition, Russia no longer supplies rocket engines to the USA. Dmitry Rogozin literally said, "Let them fly on something else, their broomsticks." This is why Elon Musk tweeted, "American broomsticks," under a SpaceX video. The delivery halt primarily affects Northrop Grumman, which uses Russian-made RD-181 engines in its Antares rocket. Although United Launch Alliance's Atlas V also uses Russian-made RD-180 engines for the first stage, the company says it has enough engines on hand to fly out all remaining Atlas V missions. Russia also cancelled its cooperation with NASA on the Venus mission Venera-D, which began in 2017 and was set to fly an orbiter with a lander and scientific instruments from the US to Earth's sister planet in 2029. Russia now wants to carry out the mission alone. However, Rogozin's threats regarding the ISS and its crash were curious. It is true that it is regularly lifted, but it would take years until it would enter the Earth's atmosphere uncontrolled. However, Roscosmos terminated all scientific experiments on board, carried out together with the German Aerospace Center, DLR. Furthermore, the conflict could jeopardize the extension of the station's use from 2024 to 2030, which is particularly unfortunate since the ISS has been a prime example of international cooperation. The ExoMars mission is still unclear at present. This European-Russian joint project was supposed to launch in September with a Russian launch vehicle to the Red Planet and search for traces of life there. However, due to planetary installations, there is only a narrow window of time when such a mission could be launched. If one cannot launch this year because of the conflict, it will be at least 2 years before another opportunity arises. One of the beneficiaries of this development is Elon Musk and SpaceX. For example, OneWeb agreed to collaborate with the Californians on March 21, 2022. And if in the future SpaceX competitors are affected by Russia, this further strengthens their position. Moreover, Elon Musk used the whole thing for self-marketing and publicly challenged Vladimir Putin to a duel. He would even take on Putin and a Russian bear at the same time. Thank you for your attention. What do you think of the whole thing? Write your opinion in the comments.